24, Raphael Peterson. Number 20, George Ward.
The Detroit Cooley Cardinals are the champions.
Oh, man, welcome to State Champions Podcast. We're in season 2. We had to come to you live tonight for a special edition. Y'all know how we do it on State Champions Podcast. We discuss people, politics, community, and culture. And what would a podcast be with two great friends without discussing sports? We had to come in tonight to talk about this situation that happened between Michigan and Wisconsin. I'm your co-captain, Raphael Peterson. To my left and to your right is my main man, George T. Ward Jr. How you doing, boy?
Man, I'm good, man. Sunday is fun day.
Sunday is fun day.
You know, but got to have a great discussion.
Oh, we're going to have a great discussion.
I think it's a great opportunity to, come again with some solution-based dialogue. It was an unfortunate situation. But
yeah, absolutely.
Got to have it's a teachable moment for everybody, not necessarily involved, but some of our young people that's been out there looking and seeing what's going on. So let's get to it.
No, we're going to get to it, but G, because before we get to it, tomorrow, it's a big day in the city of Detroit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a big day. G, you have a big game right here. King versus Western International for the city championship.
Oh, that's right.
The city championship. Yeah. Now, we're going to get to that as well because we got to talk about that. And I don't have to ask your prediction, but no, I know what you're thinking, but we're going to get to that. But we definitely got to talk about this subject matter. So all y'all who don't know, who haven't seen the clip and saw what happened today in the Wisconsin-Michigan game.
They're going
End of the game, there was a situation between Coach Juwan Howard and the head coach at Wisconsin. Can we play that clip?
Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene.
Oh, my God.
So now when you're looking at that clip, before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody can call in, all the coaches that done tapped in.
Yeah.
Dial in to our number, 313-314-8400. That's 313-314-8400. Make sure y'all tune in. Facebook Live, all of that. Go to our YouTube page. Make sure y'all subscribe and like so y'all make sure y'all can get all the good information that's coming out from us.
That's right.
But I don't really want to get started too quick because I really want somebody to call in and tell me what are their thoughts on the situation that happened today. What do y'all think? It was Juwan's fault? Do you think it was the coach from Wisconsin's fault? I got my views. G, what you think?
Well, ultimately.
Oh, wait a minute, G. We got a call already. Let's get to this caller right now. Caller, you on the air. What's your name? They hung up. Call right back, because we want to get y'all insight on what you think about this situation. Again, that number is 313-314-8400. 313-314-8400.
That's right.
Make sure y'all call back in because I want to get the coach's opinion from around here in the city of Detroit, but from around the country for people that's tuning in, far as California, Atlanta, Georgia. Here we go. We got a caller again. Go, caller. What's your name?
This is Don calling in about the Juwan Howard situation.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question? What's your comment?
I think he got caught up in the heat of the moment. He was wrong, but like G. Ward said, it's a teachable moment for everybody.
So you say you think he got caught up in the heat of the moment in that situation and it got out of control. And this brother Don, we thank you for your call. G, what you say to the caller about that situation?
Man, Don T, thanks for calling. The one thing you got to say is, again, Don's absolutely right. Obviously, he got caught up in the heat of the moment. The one thing that's kind of tricky about getting caught up in the heat of the moment is, again, I wasn't there. I don't know what took place to lead up to all of this. Michigan is playing for their tournament lives right now. We understand that. But I think when you got young men that are following you, obviously being a leader of this program, you're like a father to these guys. When they see you lose it, you saw what happened. What happened right after,
of course,
the players started fighting as well. So hopefully, this doesn't cause Juwan to lose his job, and there's no suspensions for the players as well. I know something, there will be some disciplinary action for Juwan, but I just hope the players don't get suspended as well, some of them. So we just got to see what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you this, G. I was watching it live. I watched the whole thing. And,
that's right. You called me.
And what started the whole thing, here's the situation. It was towards the end of the game. Obviously, Michigan could not win the game.
Yep.
They were down, and it was probably about 32 seconds to go. Wisconsin coach put in the subs. Okay? And I want to know what everybody thought is on this. In basketball, when do you concede? What is the signal for conceding in a basketball game when you saying it's officially over, even though it's still time on the clock? Well, from my perspective, and what I saw was simply this. The coach from Wisconsin put his subs in. Juwan still had some guys on the floor, and they continued to press, okay? They got a steal, made a layup. One of the kids from Wisconsin, he was so nervous that his shoe came off. So you can tell he hadn't played in the game before. So they were trying to take the ball out, and what ended up happening was it was going to be a 5-second call, and the coach from Wisconsin called a timeout.
Wow.
And the commentators said Juwan took exception to that situation. Well, from what I say, this is for all the coaches that are out there who are listening, because I've been in this situation before.
That's different now.
So now when you look at that situation, when you concede, you are no longer trying to press.
Yes.
You're no longer trying to steal the ball. You back up and let the game end.
Indeed.
So in my opinion, Juwan Howard is the cause of this situation, period, point blank.
Wow.
Because as the leader, you have to do certain things, and you have to make sure that, okay, I understand we're losing. We can't win the game. But once you didn't concede and the coach is on the other side, number one, it's a teachable moment for his young guys who got in the game just to show them how to get the ball in bounds.
Indeed.
But Juwan got upset. And so once they went through the line, because Juwan decided he wasn't going to go through the line at first, and then he decided he was. And the coach tried to stop him. They tried to explain to him. Juwan put his finger in his face.
Yeah, I saw that.
There was some words exchanged.
Wow.
The other assistant coach stepped up. Initially, I thought Juwan threw a punch, but it was an open hand, slapped the guy in the face, and it was on from there. That was the brawl. So, G, when you think about that now, what is your perspective now that you know the whole thing, and everybody out there that's listening, what do you think should happen, and what do you think about the situation?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
That puts everything in a great perspective. And I'll tell you why. Because Juwan, the Michigan team is still playing to try to win the game. And obviously they knew they couldn't win, but they're still being aggressive in their actions. So as a coach, if I'm the coach on the winning end, and it looks like we're about to have a 5-second count, I am not about to allow this 5-second, 10-second call to take place and not try to assist my players at that time.
Absolutely.
I always say the best time to practice is during the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have an opportunity to teach those young men as opposed to going into the film room the next day and saying, you could have done this.
Okay.
And the one thing I will tell you about that is winning a game is one thing, but you never really like winning a game and you don't end correctly. And I don't care who's on the floor.
Absolutely.
So Juwan, in my humble opinion, and I know I'm about right because I've done this so many times, you'll continue to play the game. Then the other coach is allowed to coach the game. And his team is allowed to play the game as well.
There you go. Absolutely.
So you can't get upset. Now, if it was a situation where you think, okay, I'm sitting back in my 2-3 zone and these guys are trying to run a certain play with their starters in, that's a whole nother beast.
But that wasn't the case.
That is not the case. So to hear, and you were there, you called me, you on the phone, called me right away, say, gee, I was just watching this game.
Yeah.
Man, Juwan going to be in some trouble.
He's going to be in some major trouble.
So to hear the details behind it, it really makes it worse than what it even looked like for me. Okay. Because you had an opportunity, Coach Howard, You had an opportunity to scale your guys back.
Uh-huh.
You did not. You got to allow this gentleman to coach his team, especially for guys who don't get in the game often, because this is a very, very teachable moment, and I don't like his actions whatsoever. And I don't like what it suggests to his young men.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now you want to continue to compete, but you don't want me to continue to compete. And that's a bad message for us players. So we're going to see where it takes us.
So I think somebody's still on the line. Caller, you there? Maybe we lost him. But when you talk about that, George, and I said this earlier when we was on the phone, that one thing about it is that this situation is not what happened, it's how Juwan that was not conducive and good for that was not good for basketball, period, point blank.
Not good.
No sportsmanship.
Not good for anything.
Not good for anything. No sportsmanship. Teaching the kids the right way. And what I saw once the leader took off, next thing you know, here come the players. Players are throwing blows. Everything is going on. It's going wild and crazy. But when you saw that, George, it was very, very upsetting. Yep. Just make sure people that's looking in on live, we having some technical difficulties, but everything is going to be good. We can still call in for the conversation. Tune in to, here we got another caller. Oh, they hung up again. Make sure you guys let the phone ring for a second, but we're going to make sure we get to all your calls because we want to hear what the coaches are thinking in the city of Detroit and from around the country.
And I want some of these parents, and I know some of our sisters have called in and made some comments on Facebook. I really want to hear what you have to say when you saw everything that took place. What was your thought behind it, and what are you thinking as far as athletics go? And again, we had a conversation over a week ago with Ray Kelser.
Yes, sir.
And we talked about have the adults taking the fun out of the game. It's almost amazing that we're having this discussion right now in this special Sunday edition, but we got to do something about it quick.
So, and just in my thought process behind it. What I'm thinking that's going to happen, I know Juwan is going to get suspended. It's not a question. It's going to be at least 2 or 3 players that's going to be suspended as well, because once everything took place, it was out of control. Police had to get involved. They had to get involved at a level where you're looking like, wow, this shouldn't happen. But it's okay in that situation. But George, I remember a situation that took place with me couple years back when I was still coaching. And what happened was sort of the same situation. I was ahead.
I know.
And they continued to press. And so the situation came up with me and the coach at the time. We since, buried the hatchet, but at that time, it was a difficult situation.
Absolutely.
And they thought I was trying to run up the score, but I really wasn't.
Yeah, which you
I would never do that. But the situation got out of control, out of hand, in terms of some verbal combat. We fixed that situation. But however, when you think about it, to the young coaches and to all coaches that's out there,
same thing.
Here's what you have to realize. Once the game is over, you have to concede. You must concede. And the way that you concede is simply, if you're losing, back off. You can't continue to try to trap, press, or go after the other team. You have to back up and make sure that the other coach understands that you're conceding. Right. So then he won't misinterpret that and then continue to shoot or try to score points at that time. So, G, have you ever been in that situation?
Well, it's crazy. I was in that situation. And it's kind of funny because this is 2011. We're playing in the quarterfinals of the PSL tournament. And we were playing against a very good basketball team. And the funny thing about it is I went to a zone.
Okay.
Which I don't play a lot of zone, but I went to a zone, but it was effective. And the team started turning the ball over, and I'm playing zone to slow the game down anyway. And the other team continued to press.
Yes, sir.
And now we're working on our press break. It's win or go home. We've seen some crazy things happen. But as they kept pressing, we swung the ball. We got a couple layups out of it. We were working. But when you say conceding, if you haven't said, okay, you know what, this one is done, I'm going to bag off.
Yeah.
And you continue to play aggressively. It's one thing to play the game, but to play aggressively like Michigan was playing today, you can't think that your opponent
Yeah.
doesn't understand. Your opponent is understanding and say, well, I got to continue to play as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you got subs on the floor, I just really say again, it was a great opportunity for Wisconsin's coach to coach his team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so like you said, the young men were nervous. You know, you saw some things in watching the game. You said, man, young fella looked like he hasn't been in this situation before.
Yeah.
I think the coach really, now this is what's funny, the Wisconsin coach really would have been doing his team a disservice.
Absolutely.
Not to coach them.
Uh-huh.
So mentally, what it would have suggested, if this guy didn't continue to coach him, he didn't call a timeout like he would have in the first half, mentally it's almost telling his players, the guys that are on the floor right now, they don't even really matter because they're not going to be in this situation anyway. Because so this situation goes far beyond we're still trying to win a game or we're trying to run a score.
Absolutely.
This guy has an obligation to his players to continue to coach. And I think Juwan really missed out on this, and his actions didn't suggest any professionalism.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I always go back to, and I'm always thinking about how different things happen. And I remember the malice at the Palace.
Yep.
And a lot of people blame Ron Artest. And I'm going to tell you,
especially
George,
from
yeah,
here.
everybody from here blame Ron Artest. And obviously, it's a documentary out. You can go view it for yourself. I remember this situation vividly. And what I thought at the time, and still to this day, I really believe that who precipitated that very, very melee,
say it again,
that whole melee was the big fella, Ben Wallace. And I know the game was over. Detroit was winning. It probably was about, I think it's about 7 to 8.
77.
Ron Artest gave a hard foul. Okay? And once he gave that foul, it wasn't the foul, in my opinion. It was a foul. It shouldn't have happened. Ron Artest is who he was at the time. Well, it was how Ben Wallace responded. So just so y'all can get some insight to this, when we're looking at anytime there's a riot, we'll use the word riot for the sake of this.
Okay.
Because that's pretty much what took place at the Palace on that day.
Yes.
I think that was November 19th. Man, that was a long time ago. But anyway, when that happened, Ben Wallace is considered the leader. Anytime there's police work and anytime a riot is taking place in any city, the police do not go after all the other stragglers.
No.
What they try to do is identify
who the leaders are,
who the leader is. And then they put a wedge through there and we go through there and and what's going to happen is once they do that, they go after that particular person and then they go back. So what we want to do, I want to show the video again and make sure we're going to reset everything because we're having a little technical difficulties. We want to keep this conversation going. So we're going to reset everything. Stay tuned. Keep on. Stay on board. Let's go. We're going to So we back. We just had some technical difficulties. We were trying to get this show in, and it's working out because we got a lot of people online. All the coaches again. Make sure y'all tune in. Y'all call
77. Oh, see, and they're going at it.
314-8400. And I think we was going to run that clip back just for you guys to see it because everybody who did not see the clip, you must see it. Check it out. It's on screen now.
77. Oh, see, and they're going at it. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that time.
Words with him.
And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene.
Oh, my God. You got another caller. Caller, you there?
Yes.
Who am I speaking with?
Arvis Young.
Who is it?
Arvis Young.
Brother Arvis. Brother
Hey, why?
Arvis.
Hey, why?
So you just saw the situation, okay? Brother Arvis, tell us what you think because you had some extensive coaching experience. From what you saw today, what do you think about this situation?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you, having me. I've always been the type of guy that explains to my players, you are responsible for your actions. You are, nobody else. Arvis Young, YPF Peterson, George Ward, whoever.
Yes, sir.
You are responsible for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, in the heat of the battle, things are said, things are done, but you are responsible for your own actions at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna leave it like that.
Wow.
So what you're saying then? Go ahead, Brother Arvis.
So even though as high school coaches or professional coaches, emotions are involved all the time.
Absolutely.
Particularly when you lose, emotions may be a little bit high, but you still have to make sure that you're being responsible and respectful because other people are watching you. Your kids are watching you. Sometimes kids feed off the coach.
Mm-hmm.
If the coach is under control or if the coach is not under control, you have to be aware of that at all times.
Absolutely.
At all times.
Uh-huh.
So that's just where I'm at with it. It's unfortunate, but it happens more now than in the past. This just happened to happen today on national TV, but it happens in high school gyms all the time.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, wow, we appreciate you calling, man. Good to talk to you, big brother. Tell sis we said hello. We'll see her Wednesday.
I sure will. Appreciate y'all.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep. So when you think about that, and Coach Young is the head coach over at Cody High School here in Detroit, Michigan.
Absolutely.
And you're talking about the emotions. And this is part of the issue. When you get so wrapped up into a situation and you can't control your emotions, bad things are going to happen. Nobody has ever in the country made a great decision with these emotions. We have another caller. Let's go to this caller. Caller, you on the air. What's your name?
This is Arnett Jordan.
Arnett Jordan, how you doing?
Ned, baby.
What's going on, baby?
Man, good to talk to you, man. How you been? Good job this season, too, over at West Bloomfield High School. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate it, man. I was listening, man. I just had to call in because it's a couple of things that we have to unpack here.
Yes, sir.
Number one, the assistant coaches got to get Juwan out of there.
I was just sitting there thinking it as I'm looking at it.
Go ahead, man. Coach. Go on and tell him. Keep going.
As a guy who coached college basketball, once you see that your head coach is getting into it, they got to be escorted out so nothing happens. Because right now, that's your livelihood too. If something goes wrong, that's your livelihood too.
Wow. And so go ahead.
The thing that's worse is that Juwan tried to walk past him because he didn't want confrontation.
Yep.
He was already mad. He knew he was mad. So he was trying to walk away. And the coach put his hands on him.
Yep.
Violation number one. You don't put your hands on anybody, especially when you know he's mad at you.
Wow. Yeah.
As a head coach, you guys got numbers. You text him later on that night and say, listen, man, I know you mad at me. It's my fault. This is what I intended, coach. I don't want no beef with you. Let's squash it.
I love it.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
And so for him to put his hands on him, and Sharif, who's the assistant coach in Wisconsin, he did his job.
Yes.
You saw he got him out of there.
Yep.
Where was Michigan coaches? I saw Saudi at the end, but where were the Michigan coaches? Where were anybody?
Yeah, anybody. Yeah.
What do you think?
And what's unfortunate about it more is that Juwan has already had an episode with the Maryland coach, so whatever he did, he was going to be in the wrong regardless.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not to mention the elephant in the room, but go ahead.
No question. So I'm sad that it happened, and I know both of you coaches understand.
Yes.
The handshaking needs to be done.
Yep.
It needs to be done because in a heated battle, rivalries, things, people are heated, and it can't be solved right there. So you just point to them, wave your hand, give them a nod, and everybody go their both ways, and then none of that happens.
There you go.
Great point.
So, Coach, let me ask you this question. Can you give some insight in terms of with some young people that may have been watching, maybe your kids who may be listening, but just for anybody who's listening, maybe a parent, what did you suggest in that situation from the player standpoint?
Well, one thing, players should always stand down because it's nothing you can do but get yourself in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in a line, now, once it's a melee, no one knows who's grabbing who. No one knows who's punching who.
Yeah.
And I thank God that, and I want to say this because I've had a couple arguments with people. Juwan's hand was being held by Hunter Dickerson, and he pulled it away.
Oh.
And that's what made his arm go through. People don't understand that. They have to go back at the tape. So if somebody's grabbing you and you're pulling your arm back, his arm went forward. It wasn't a punch. He just broke his arm free.
So you saying that because the guy had his hand, now Juwan's hand came forward?
Exactly. So if I'm in the back, if you go back and look at the tape, his center is holding his hand and he's trying to rip it forward. Once he let it go, his hand goes forward. It wasn't a punch. People who thought it was a punch, it definitely wasn't a punch.
Yeah, it wasn't a punch.
We recognize that. Yeah,
it wasn't a punch. It was open hand. Yeah. Man, that's interesting. That's interesting.
So as it gets to him, his hand he does mushing. But here's the thing. In those melees, when you have people in the mix, you don't know who's swinging on who, and then you have grown men hitting kids. Now, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely a problem.
To stop their handshake.
Yeah.
Because in the middle of it, you don't know who's swinging on who. You're trying to protect yourself. Some guys might get hit that ain't even looking.
Yeah.
You might have a Rudy Tomjanovich situation.
Oh, absolutely.
A guy gets knocked out cold and hurt.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we will definitely appreciate your call. We definitely appreciate your call. We got some more callers.
Guys. I love you guys. You keep doing your thing.
Man, mad love, man.
To a Cooley's finest, man.
Oh,
keep doing your thing.
We appreciate you, man. Good luck this weekend in that state tournament, bro.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, I gotta say this.
Go ahead, G.
I gotta say this. And again, I don't care what level you are on.
Yeah,
there's passion involved in competition. Well, I just know this to be true. There's been times where I've had conversations with an official or one of my players, and I can tell you this, and this is why it's important to raise men as you have an opportunity to raise these young men. Hold them accountable and make them feel an obligation to you.
Yeah.
And every day when we break the huddle, every day we've said, that's the only way I break the huddle.
Yes, sir.
But I want you to think about this. There's been times where coaches have gotten into some situations, okay? Even if it's just verbal. My players have grabbed me or said, all right, coach, we good. Coach, I got him. I'm looking at Juwan's players, and Coach Jordan just made a great point.
Yeah.
Where were the assistant coaches for the University of Michigan men's basketball program? But here's my thing with that. He had about 5 or 6 players around him. And I'm not suggesting that they tackled Juwan or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I know is this. I can tell you, I know for a fact I've had players over the years who will have made sure I didn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm watching his guys, and of course they supported the heck out of him. That's how they end up fighting.
Yeah.
But I think those young men, when they look back on it, I'm sure in a few years or a few days, some of those young men will say, man, I should have grabbed coach and just got him out of there.
Got him out of there.
Because he wouldn't have suspended you. You wouldn't have had to run extra laps or anything. In that situation, when you recognize, man, coach.
We got another caller.
Coach tripping. Go ahead, caller.
We got another caller. Caller, you on the air. Who are we speaking with?
It's EP, man. What's going on, Ralph? What's going on, Coach Doug?
Eric Pate. What's going on, my brother? No, excuse me. Dr. Eric Pate. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. No need for that, man. You know I got love for you either way, man. Whatever happens, happens. Let me say this, man. Guys, you know, I understand that Juwan is absolutely wrong.
Yes,
Reaching
sir.
across, pointing at a guy, in his hand, his face, things of that nature.
Yep.
But I think we're so quick to judge. I covered Bobby Knight.
Okay.
My first career as a sports writer. I covered him for 2 years.
Okay.
Bobby Knight has done everything from throw a chair across a floor at Assembly Hall during competition.
Yes, sir.
He's fronted off Lou Henson. He's fronted off other coaches. We remember John Chaney in this infamous episode with John Calipari. These things occur. I just think that, you know, we have to be careful to be so judgmental with it. Yes, Juwan Howard will suffer a penance for what occurred when he reached across and hit the assistant coach. But let's also remember he tried to avoid him in the line, and Greg Gard grabbed his arm. At no time should anyone touch anyone else.
Yeah, of
We
course.
just shouldn't even have physical contact in the line. And then I'm wondering, where Phil Martelli, a veteran coach, used to be a head coach, now assistant at Michigan, Howard Eisen on that bench. Where were those guys? Sadie Washington and Coach Hunter were back there peeling players off and shielding the coach. And I know you guys alluded to it, but I just think that is a very critical point. We have to protect the king. We have to protect the head coach. George, I think you talked about that. We have to protect the head coach. He's the leader of men. It's a great responsibility, but we have to have people in place that are going to protect you.
At all times. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
and to your point, so I'm gonna go back because when I was watching the game, so Juwan was so upset that he was not going to go through the line. So you had all the other assistant coaches, they led. So they were already down the line. They were already in the front. Yeah. And then you had players came in between, and then Juwan was last. But still to the point, and now we definitely don't want to jump to no judgment. But at the end of the day, when situations happen and you are the lead, you got to maintain your cool at all costs. And I think Coach Jordan made a great point, because at the end of the day, people are watching, your players are watching, parents are watching. And then because of who you are and you had a previous situation, now they're going to look back at that. Should that be any bearing on what happened today? It shouldn't, but the realization of it is, in the United States of America, when you have something that's on your record and you do something similar, they're going to say, this is you, this is your character. So I just think that Juwan, he's going to have to come out and make a statement. And he's going to have to apologize to the head coach. And I agree with Coach Jordan. He shouldn't have put his hands on Juwan at that time because of the emotion that was going, okay? But I think the coach, in my opinion, was trying to explain the situation. And I know that's how it got out of control. So for me, EP, can you, from your view, you sat at many, many games. You know a lot of coaches, been around this game for a long time. Have you ever seen a situation that took place like this in the city of Detroit or anywhere you've been?
I think the only thing that comes to mind, Summer League, Perry and Kelso are a little heated. I don't remember anything that comes to mind other than 2012 when Pershing played King, Callahan, Dub. Coach Canada decided not to shake their hands, or whoever did, and they left off the floor as King celebrated. But nothing to the nature of, hey, we're in the line and we're gonna get to an altercation. That was the sad part about it. But I just think that, you know, there's got to be a guy on the staff. And I've seen Mike Jackson do it when he was with Tommy Amaker. I've seen Mike Jackson do it with Perry Watson. I've seen Dave Greer do it with Perry on the collegiate level, high school level.
Yeah.
That says, hey, coach, I got you. Back up, coach. Man, be cool, coach. I've seen it with you guys. You guys don't get too out of sorts with officiating. But the bottom line is, somebody's got to protect the team.
Yeah.
I know those guys were in the locker room, but they got to make it a point to make sure, hey, everybody in, everybody go through the line.
Yep.
Stand there until your guys get done. Get there to protect that head coach. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. EP, we think you got another caller.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, they hung up. Call back, but I'm looking at some of the chats online. And T. Wheeler, you're right. You can't judge a man on his worst day, but we'd also got to make sure that we have people held accountable for their actions. Because one thing I will say this, and I'll say it a million times, especially as Black men in the United States of America, it's not really important to know what you can do. You better know what you cannot do. Here's another caller right now. Go, caller. You on the air.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's happening?
Who are we speaking with?
Gentry Pitts.
Oh, what's up, G? How you feel, man?
Man, ain't nothing happening, man. I'm just keeping up with the conversation, you know.
What's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts on the day? I know you got that beard tight. What's going on?
You know I do. Hey, man, first and foremost, anytime hands get thrown in a venue like that, it's not appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
However, I watch body language. You know what I do for a living.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And when Juwan approaches,
Yes.
tries to shake hands and keep it moving, that's what he should have let him do, man.
Yep, I agree.
You know, so somebody should address that issue. The fact that you damn near set up a roadblock in front of me, so I couldn't even just keep walking by.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
You know, now it shouldn't have got to that point.
No.
I listened to the other people that talked about his coaching staff, players, so on and so forth. Should have just more or less shielded him. I agree with that as well. But look, man, if you already know, it was almost a setup.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to talk about that whole elephant in the room, but I'm sorry, I'm about to.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, we want to talk about it. One thing about on State Champions Podcast, we want to discuss people, politics, community, and culture, and we want to face the tough issues. Go ahead. Tell them what you think.
Okay, so check out here. Here's how I'm feeling. Juwan approaches. He gets ready. He extends his hand or whatever the case may be, because that's just protocol. That's just what we do, proper etiquette after the game.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
He basically is telling my man, hey, I don't even want to kick it with you.
Yep.
The white man says, look here, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that term for a lighter term. You're going to talk to me whether you want to or not.
I get it.
You know,
so
forget the fact that it clearly shows he tried to walk by.
Yeah.
He tried to walk by. So, GP, let me ask you this. What do you think, just if you had to bet on this, what do you think Juwan's consequences are going to be? What do you think the Big Ten is going to do and the University of Michigan?
I don't know, man. This a business at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Everybody had a responsibility to control their emotions.
Yeah.
And this isn't his first occurrence.
Okay.
Suspension, definitely.
Yep.
Termination, possibly.
I hope not.
Michigan has, I hope not as well.
Yep.
Let me go on. I love Juwan Howard, man. Yeah, I mean, people, there's a name that has to be protected here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people have bosses.
Hey, and everybody got to answer to somebody. GP, we got another caller come in, man. Stay tuned and check us out Wednesday night as well.
Stay up, y'all.
You too, bro.
Next caller, you on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Larry Campbell.
Larry Campbell, how you doing?
Big L.
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man.
What's your thoughts on this
Trying
situation?
to work this out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah. What it all boils down to, man, to me is leadership. Now, and I listened to my brother Gentry, and in real life, when you charged emotionally, like that, things happen. But at the end of the day, I think we got to think about what type of effect it's going to have on the kids, on the players.
Yep.
And I think it being Michigan and it also being the Big Ten, I'm going to go back to when Juwan Howard interviewed for the job. A lot of people didn't want him to get that job.
Of course.
And I think it's given those people the ammunition that they want.
Yep.
Wow.
And we go all the way back to the Fab Five. Some of the things that even Michigan alums said about Jalen and Juwan and them as 18-year-old kids.
Yes.
Those are the same people that just didn't want Juwan to have the job, period.
Yep.
No question.
And leadership is what it is. And Juwan is a good dude, and we all know that.
Yep.
But, when the coach responds a certain way, because, and Coach Ward, I watched something the other day. You were talking to your kids in the locker room.
Wow.
I watched how your kids they fed off of every word that you say. And that's what players do.
Yeah.
So if Coach Ward gets into something like that at a basketball game, your players love you.
Yes.
And if that happens, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
It'll be ugly.
It will be ugly.
And most coaches have that type of effect on their players.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So although, Juwan is a good dude, man, and I hope that all of this goes by and maybe he'll get a suspension or something because it's probably warranted. But, when we're in our emotional state, man, I think we have to just learn how to just, maintain some type of control, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And handle ourselves.
Wisconsin coach. I'm sorry.
We got to learn how to handle ourselves in the midst of everything. It's so many of us that are, again, in different situations right now because we couldn't handle our emotions at a certain time. So we got to be conscious of that and understand, especially the entire world was watching. You're sitting in front of 15 to 20,000 fans and you're on a national television audience. But, we got another caller coming in. I think something else too, Hell. They're probably going to suspend him and make him take some type of anger management class or something like that. It's 2022. And,
right.
That's kind of the thing now where we make people take some type of therapy. And I hope that's something that they do because I want the brother to have an opportunity to finish this thing out. And he started doing it. He's doing a good job. But we got another caller coming in, man. Stay tuned. Watch us every week, man. Hit the like button on YouTube.
All right, next caller. You're on the air. Who we speaking with?
I don't want to give my name.
Okay, you don't have to give your name, caller. You want to stay anonymous. You can't, here's the thing. You can't throw no rocks and, hide your hand now.
I'm not going to throw any rocks, but I'm just trying to say that the Wisconsin coach should have never touched him. Yes, Juwan was wrong for coming back at him.
Okay.
But he should never touched him, number one.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Juwan, you are a leader. But keep your hands off me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope that he doesn't get maybe suspended for a couple games. I hope not terminated because of the color of his skin. Because if it's anyone else, he would have just got a slap on the wrist and suspended. So let's hope he's suspended for just a couple games.
All right. Well,
that's all I have to say.
Oh, thank you for your call. We appreciate you.
We think we know who you are. We won't say nothing.
Yep. So when we think about that, and of course, there's going to be some varying factors are always going to come into play, but we just have to understand when you are in certain positions, you got to make sure that you are under control and doing what you're doing. Got another caller. Caller, you on the air? Who we speaking with?
What's up, brother? This is John, man.
Brother John, how you doing? What's your take on this Michigan situation?
So I'm Ohio State all the way, but this situation.
Now wait, hold on. We're not gonna let you call in and just slide past that as if you're not on the Michigan airways now. Okay, go ahead.
I gotta throw that dig in there.
Okay.
So I keep watching the video, man, over and over and over again. So you guys, y'all are making good points. y'all helped me look at something and say, okay, yeah, Coach George said the thing about, hey, that coach, he gets to coach his team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I learned something from you guys just on that alone.
Okay.
But I'm going to go to the human side of this thing, man.
Okay.
The first thing, like everybody is saying, man, when that coach put his hands on that man,
mm-hmm.
and that man is an African-American man, and a lot of us, we walk around with chips on our shoulders because we deal with so much foolishness,
Mm-hmm.
right? From our white friends, our white colleagues, all of that type of stuff. That coach was completely out of order, and to me, that's Juwan Howard's saving grace, man. As far as his job, any suspension, any loss of money, or anything like that, I think that other coach, he made the situation worse by first putting his hands on him.
Mm-hmm.
But then here's another take that I had too, because I've watched the video a million times. What did that assistant coach say to that kid right off to the side?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was something that made Juwan react the way that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he went to another level quick.
That assistant coach, whatever he said, F you, get the F back, who are you, whatever. He said something to one of Juwan's kids.
Okay.
Like, think about what the previous caller just said about Coach George in the locker room. Those kids hang on their coach's every word. This kid probably loves Juwan. Juwan loves this kid.
Yes.
That assistant coach from the other side said something to that kid. If you watch that video, he said something to that kid, and that made Juwan react. So a lot of emotions are in there, but I'm telling you, just like the previous caller said, if that coach had never put his hands on Coach Juwan Howard, that situation would not have went there.
Now, that's a great point, Brother John.
Yeah.
We appreciate your call. So because we got another caller coming in, but when we think about this, when we think about this, looking at that picture, and y'all, everybody's making some valid points, because at first I didn't see it that way, because I saw the coach trying to explain his side.
Yeah.
But in that situation, understanding that moment and having that clear understanding, he was trying to explain to Juwan. But I see the other side from what the lady said, what Brother John is saying. I think a couple other people online is chiming in and saying as well, you can't put your hands on the man. You can't stop him and stop him in his tracks. Go ahead, G.
Ralph, I want you to think about this too, though.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, we are responsible for our young people.
Uh-huh.
So in having that understanding, you got to say, you know what? I know if I do this, I know what my players are going to do.
Yeah.
See, I ain't no fool. I understand. There are some teams where I knew when I was coaching Kalante Miller, Sam Burton, and those guys.
Okay. From the neighborhood, Linwood.
If I slap one of the coaches,
oh, it's going down.
Oh man,
it's going down.
No, you better watch out.
So G, let me ask you this. So I think, and Ray Kelcher said this online. I'm looking at the comments. It's a teachable moment, but
yes,
there's no blueprint on this.
No.
And I think, G, this may be an opportunity for you, myself, and some others to get together and maybe come up with a handbook in situations about emotions for coaches. And if this situation happens, what do you do? I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. My head is spinning right now, because when you think about it, it's really no blueprint on it.
No,
there's no blueprint on it. No. But going back to looking at the overall situation, see, your players, they're going to take Coach Ward's side.
No question. I don't care what he did.
Juwan Howard, they're going to take Juwan Howard's side. Ben Kelso, name them.
Yeah.
You, Coach Perry Watson, they're going to take his side. So we have to understand, hey, maybe we need to put a handbook together. It don't have to be very, very large, but just something for people to read. And then have a coaches meeting, a parent and coaches meeting before the season start. If the emotions get out of control, somebody must be assigned to pull back. Just think about it. It's a tough situation, but what are we gonna do? Just keep flying off the handle? What we gonna do?
Yeah, and you're right. This is a great opportunity for some open dialogue, and something has to be done. I think, as Arnett talked about, doing away with the handshake line. We got another caller.
We got another caller, G. Let's see what they say. Caller, you on the air. What's your name? You want to stay anonymous? Don't do that.
No, I don't have to stay anonymous. My name is Jack.
Okay. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
I'm good.
So tell me, what's your comment? What's your concern? What's your question?
Okay, so I would say my honest opinion, because I did watch the whole scenario and I understand the balance of the professionalism and personal. And I think when you're sitting in the position that y'all sitting in, you only can speak from a professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
But our natural being has a split. So I get y'all saying, like, you know, you can control, you can tap on it. I don't think so. I think some situations is conscious, some situations unconscious. I honestly, when you watch the video, it was something called a trigger. He was triggered to respond that way.
Okay.
So to disregard and to ignore that, even if you think about the law even allows a murder to be excusable because they'll say it was temporary insanity.
Okay, I got you.
People can be murdered by them simply ruling out it was temporary insanity.
Okay.
So how can we not say that in the same instance of someone triggered your emotion? Again, it definitely looks like something was triggered through words.
Okay.
So yes, in the professional realm, yes, should there be some type of reprimand? No doubt. But a total, loss of income or combination, I think everybody involved responded emotionally. So if everybody ain't going to be reprimanded the same way, then I don't think one person should be reprimanded one way.
Well, we appreciate your comment and your concern, and you probably need to help us write this book. We got another call.
Yeah, Jack, we're gonna respond to that too in a little bit. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller, you on the air. Who we speaking with?
Brian Waldron.
Brian Waldron.
Hey, B. Waldron, how you doing? What's your comment?
What's up, Ralph, man? Listen, are we talking about this Juwan Howard incident, or are we talking about it from a real standpoint? Because ultimately, ultimately, he's the leader of young men.
Yes.
And you both have coached and both played at a high level of basketball. And especially while you coach against guys that you see on a regular basis, that you have much more interaction with. And here he is at a higher level. I mean, it's Juwan, it's Nuki. I love him, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is he's at a high level. And he's a leader of young men. You just can't have that. Like, I don't care what was said. People talk about triggers and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, we teach our kids that you can't be allowed to be triggered.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I'm the leader and I'm allowed to be triggered, that's the problem.
Yeah, especially get triggered and act to that level. That's deep.
And B. Waldron, we appreciate your call. We got another caller calling in, and we're gonna talk about those triggers in 2 seconds.
You got to bring some stuff on here. You know it.
Caller, you on the air. What's your comment? What's your name?
What's up? This is Chris.
Hey, brother Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm just calling about what happened and everything. But I believe that that he should be suspended.
Okay.
Because when you in situations like that, you got to be you professional, and you gotta people see you as a professional coach. So people see you fighting. The first thing they're gonna think is is that a leader? Is that a coach?
Okay.
I know I'm kind of nervous because I never did this before.
No,
so
you're doing a great job.
So, but yeah, I believe because I have looked at it 3 times and I slow motioned it to see every clip, every frame to see what's going on. But a lot of other people should get suspended in that situation too, because there was a lot of people throwing blows and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't believe he should be fired though. I believe he should be suspended. And that's my take on it.
Yeah, I don't think he should be fired either. Chris, we appreciate you calling in, young brother.
We appreciate the call. So let's go back to we're talking about those triggers, as a young lady said, and has B. Waldron addressed. So every day, G, you and I and our producer of the show, Quincy, we got another caller. Caller, just hold on 1 second. I want to make a quick comment. We'll get to you in 2 seconds. So every day we deal with people in the community.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
I know where you're going.
we talk about how we have to be in control of our emotions
At all times.
because we've seen a lot of brothers
Say it.
and sisters
Better say it.
that have been killed or made a mistake
And
went to prison.
Mhm.
And because they allowed somebody else to control their emotions.
absolutely.
See, one thing, once you start to understand that you have to be in total control,
Mhm.
and this don't come overnight, this takes practice. So you have to put yourself in situations, say, what if I'm at the bar and somebody says something inappropriate?
Yes.
How do I handle myself? See, one thing that we are in our community, and I understand it, it's hard for us to back down.
Yeah.
See, we have this thing I call foolish pride. So a guy says something out the way,
Oh.
I ain't gonna be punked.
No.
And so I understand that situation, but I also understand my life is valuable. I don't know what that guy's going through,
Nope.
but I always have to be in control of myself. So in this situation, especially in this situation, you have to control your emotions. And on the streets, when you don't, we know a number of people that get killed and got shot, or something foolish done happened. Melee, just a spur of the moment type thing. So, G, what's your thoughts on that?
You know, we're dealing with a situation around the corner. We just got a call. Let's be realistic. So that's why I'm talking about accountability.
Oh,
literally
okay, G.
around the corner.
Okay.
In the 8th precinct, we could take a trot. You get there before I would, but we could take a trot. And there's been 2 murders at least today.
Okay. And you think it's based upon some emotions?
It had to be. It's based on emotions.
There you go.
And the inability
Okay.
to control those very emotions. But I want you to think about this.
Okay.
So you talk about preparation. I always tell people, I really handle things pretty good because I almost prepare myself. Once you're in the situation, especially if you're going to lose a game,
Mm-hmm.
I look at the clock. Everybody looks at the clock.
Yeah.
You look at the clock and you say you're down 10.
Yeah.
And there's a minute left.
Mm-hmm.
You start to prepare yourself mentally, especially if it's against someone that you don't necessarily like.
Yeah. Because we real about that. Okay.
So you look up and you start to get yourself together because for no other reason, you want your players to see how you maintain a certain level of calm.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you know, in my mind, I don't want to see these people. I don't want these people to see me just acting a total fool. It's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you done reached over and slapped somebody?
Yeah.
So I think what has to happen again, and we weren't there, but we've been there.
Yeah, we've been there for sure.
We've been there. So at some point, you got to say to yourself, you know what? It looks like we're going to lose this game. You're down 4. They lose by 14.
Mm-hmm.
So you recognize probably 2-3 minutes ago in the game, this is not going to necessarily go good. And in recognizing that, you say to yourself, all right, let's get yourself together and let me show my players how they're supposed to conduct ourselves in a loss.
Because see, what you preparing that young person for
has nothing to do with basketball.
It has nothing to do with basketball. I love this statement, and the big homie DC always say it. It's bigger than basketball.
Bigger than basketball.
And you know, T. Will, they always say these things. Caller, you on the air. Who are we speaking with?
This P. Higg, what's happening, fellas?
P. Higg, there you go. Michigan State's finest.
Bishop
Detroit
Borges, Greenfield. What's up? Hey, man, you driving down in Texas. What's up, P?
What's happening, bro? Just chiming in on it. Juwan is a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a lot of success. That has gotten him the position where he is. And I like him a lot. Understand that. And, you know, I was actually there when Bobby Knight threw the cheer.
Okay.
And it was a different thing. The players was tripping. Not the players, the fans was tripping. And he also said, we don't do that, we Indiana, when he threw the cheer, the stuff they was doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised, right? Mm-hmm. It's not about what the Big Ten gonna do. It's what Michigan's going to do.
Okay.
And I would be surprised if they don't fire.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I'll be surprised too.
I'm feeling from what if they don't, it ain't no suspensions. I mean, somebody said you a leader where you are. Is he a leader? That's what they gonna be looking at. They gonna be looking at, you know, it went to Biden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he's somebody who can bounce back from this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right,
So,
P. Hick, listen, man, I ain't heard your voice in so long, man. I'll be checking you out online, man. It's great to hear your voice, man. I'm hearing you doing great things,
same
man.
here, bro.
We got another caller, man. Thanks for the comment.
Appreciate you, baby.
All right, bro. Peace.
Yep, stay safe.
Caller, you on the air. What's your comment? What's your concern? What's your name?
My name's Antoine Moore.
Antoine Moore, how you doing, brother?
Man, Antoine, what's up, baby? You got the best junior kicker. He's a junior now. You got the best junior kicker in the state. What's up?
Hey, proud dad. Hey, man, listen, it's unfortunate. We get a guy like Juwan Howard, who you think is the perfect fit for the job, and he does something like this. And I know it's spur of the moment and things like this, but I want to ask you a question, Coach. If you smack one of your counterparts at the end of a handshake line, what do you think your punishment would be?
Wow, you know what, Twan? I love that.
Can I answer it for you?
Answer it.
I'm gonna answer it for G. If George Ward smacks somebody in the PSL or otherwise,
it's somebody I might go ahead.
Listen, in the districts, I can tell you right now, Brother Moore, he is gonna be gone.
I'm gone.
Burnt toast. Go ahead.
Okay, now, so with that being said, now when you a leader of men, when you were put in a position for people to look up at you, when you do things like that, that's basically what is called for. Now, we can like the man, we can appreciate him, and we can root for him and wish the best for him and not want him in this situation, but that doesn't erase the mistake that he made.
No.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, I kind of feel like I'm hearing a lot of let's give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a black coach.
Yes,
or
sir.
Because we like him. Or things of that nature. But at the end of the day, that's not realistic. That's not realistic.
Oh, man, we appreciate the comment.
I love Juwan Howard. I think he got to go.
Yeah, we appreciate the comment.
Man, love, baby. Proud of you, baby.
So one thing about it, we loving all the comments and people calling in, keep calling in. We can't get to all the calls. We got people chiming in on the line. And it's just one of those situations because, again, I like to talk about these emotions. We got another caller. Hold on. Caller, hold on 1 second, but you're on the air, live on air. Give me 1 second. I want to make this comment. We talk about these emotions, and I think it's really going to lead into our next show on Wednesday when we have the chief of police come on, James White. He's going to come on and talk about the state of Detroit, but he's probably going to talk about the violence that's in the city and things that's going on. George and I, we and Brother Q, who's our producer, this is what we do on a daily basis. We're out here trying to make sure that we are these role models, but also teaching young men in the schools and the community, hey, man, you can't respond based upon emotions. Because if you do, they have a place for you.
It's not going to be good.
They have a place for you. And so being able to back down, and this is where I was going, it's okay to back down. It's okay to de-escalate a situation and be able to say, you know what? I'm going to let a fight another day because my man may have a situation that's going on at his house or wherever, and he's taking it out on me. But a lot of times we don't want to do that because how we condition in our situation in the community and the culture. G, go ahead.
I want you to think about this. You know, Larry Campbell, man, I appreciate the love. He spoke on the locker room. And, there's been a lot of filming kind of going on inside my locker room from time to time. But the one thing that I know, and I try to do, is take advantage of that locker room time. And in my locker room speeches and conversation with my players, I'm teaching them about life.
Yeah, the life.
We talk about the game.
Bigger than basketball.
Okay, I need you to make sure you check Ralph and do that. And when they call timeout, they go on 2-2-1. But at the end of the day, you can understand after a loss, this would have been a great opportunity because your players recognize that you were upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
This would have been a great opportunity for you to show them after it was all said and done.
Ray Carousel talked about this. Go ahead.
You know what, man? I really wanted to slap the hell out of Dog, man.
But I didn't.
And I had to make sure that you fellas understand
that's
not the way to conduct
No, G, you cold with this.
See, I want you to think about this. Again, we talk about winning. We talked about winning even in a loss.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. Your players would have won and they really would have appreciated. And I look at my players as I'm talking to them about life. I'm going to be honest. They are much more attentive as opposed to me talking about make sure we set a back screen of horns.
Yeah.
They are really listening and paying attention. So if they know that you're upset and you handled yourself a certain way, this is a great opportunity for you to show them what you did, why you did it, and more importantly, how you were able to get your emotions under control in the midst of everything. And his players needed that from him today. And I'm sure Juwan does a great job because he's run a top first-class program. I'm not suggesting that he hasn't. But what I'm saying is, in the heat of that moment, he had to think about, you know what, let me make sure my players understand how important it is for them to keep their emotions under control because they're faced with it every day too.
So what you saying, the best example is a living example. Caller, you on the air. Who we got on the air? What's your name?
Oh, my name is Melvin Moore.
Melvin Moore.
Coach Moore, my man.
How you doing? Coach, what's your comment?
How you doing? My comment is, I talk with a lot of coaches, and we run an AAU program.
Uh-huh.
And I've given a speech in the program when I tell people, if you brought your child to me to learn about basketball, you brought them to the wrong place.
Okay.
It's about taking boys, turning them into young men.
Talk about it.
And I was blessed to raise 7.
Okay.
And it's a tough situation out here. And looking at this situation that happened with Juwan today, it saddens me. Like Coach Ward said, it was an opportunity for him to teach. It was an opportunity to show young men how to handle adversity.
Yes, sir.
I love that.
And he missed that opportunity.
Coach,
he missed that teachable moment.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Coach, I want you to think about this too. During that time, he could have even let his players know about etiquette. If he felt like something had been done to them unjustly, he could have explained to them after the game, and this is why I was even more upset. He could have explained that to them and let them know, like, hey, during the course of the game, you're not supposed to do this. It's our job as coaches to handle things this way. But to let it get to that point, really, really, I didn't like it because you also understand Madison, Wisconsin, the crowd there is probably 90%, 97% European American.
Yes.
Exactly.
And we're already villainized as the University of Michigan. So you're talking about the Fab Five and all the things that has been said about the Fab Five. They're just in discussion about maybe putting the banners back up. And then what you do, you almost justify the European Americans in their way of thinking about you anyway. So everything and everybody that comes to the games at A Squared in Ann Arbor, they go to the games, and again, you know, you're a talented bunch of black men. Okay, I get it. You can play basketball. But there's an underlying thought behind all of that anyway.
Yes, sir.
So you're a thug. So Juwan goes out and make millions of dollars, and nobody really cares about that. You know, U of M fans claim him when it's convenient for them. But all the while, they're looking at him and viewing him as, you know, he's just one of them thug guys that came up here strictly to play basketball. And then we provide for them the justification of their crazy thoughts about us anyway. So after it's all said and done, oftentimes they pray for our downfall. But far too often, our downfall is predicated by our own actions and lack of true understanding and good judgment.
Oh, man. Caller, we appreciate you calling in. We got another caller.
Appreciate you, Mel.
So when we think about that, G, what you just said is just adding that fuel to the fire. And we know what the thoughts are and what they think. But so for us, because we would be here all night long. We have so many people commenting, G, online on Facebook, calling in, as everyone can see. We really appreciate everything that everybody is, the comments, the concerns, because we don't want anything bad to happen to Juwan. No. But we just understand every consequence, every action has a reaction.
No question.
And it's going to be some swift and quick consequences for Juwan in this situation. So we appreciate everything that everybody has said and called in and talked about and made those great views. And I want to go back to those emotions. That's the biggest thing we have to get under control. It's a young lady that I know, and she always talk about, well, I'm human. but that's not the words that she used. She said, I'm effing human.
Yeah, I knew you were about to say that.
And so, but the thing for me is, I get it. Everybody's human, but we cannot use that as an excuse to say that I'm going to continue to mess up. See, I'm going to appreciate you and accept your apology the first time, but now you can't keep using I'm human, and the situation keeps going. So, but everybody, we appreciate your comments, but G, we can't get out of here now without talking about tomorrow and the big game Monday. So comments on here, because G, you don't see them. Somebody said, and I want you to kind of expand on this. Somebody said they don't understand why
24, Raphael Peterson.
Championship is going to be held out at Oakland University. Why? What's the situation with that? How come it's not at Callahan Hall? How come it's way out there at Oakland University? Can you give us some insight on that?
Well, let's get right to it.
Okay.
Callahan Hall is not allowing people in until I think the end of February. There's a certain date that they had.
Okay.
So what I did, I looked at it analytically and I said, okay, this is who I am. I saw the PSL was not having their city championship at Callahan.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Catholic League situation came on, their brackets came out, the very first thing I looked at was location.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that they weren't having theirs at Callahan, because I was gonna cry and kick and scream. They're having their championships at the Eastern Michigan University. Yesterday, they were at Birmingham Marion. So I understood. That's okay. I eliminated Callahan.
Okay.
Then I looked at Wayne State University, and I got to say, I am thoroughly disappointed.
Okay, you disappointed.
Well, thoroughly. And I thought we had an inside situation that can get us kind of in there. But
okay.
I can't be too specific about what occurred and why we're not in there. I can just tell you that there's no way, and I'm going to publicly say this, and my views are the views of George Theophilus Ward Jr. It's not necessarily the views of State Champions Podcast. This is me. There's no way Wayne State University should allow the Detroit Public School League championships to be played at the University of Oakland. And I'm going to say this, and I'll say this now. Wayne State, this is shameful. The G League team, we have an obligation to our young people in this community.
Absolutely.
So the one thing that James Alexander did and Anika McEvans, which I love, they said, you know what, we want to find these young people a nice venue because this is the championship. So what they did, they reached out, and Oakland kind of reached out to us as well and said, look, we're going to let you have it here. This is the amount, which was unbelievable. We're going to give you this. It's going to be free parking, and we're going to welcome you with open arms.
Okay.
So I say, you know what? In the end, you and I have taken a bus ride to East Lansing, and then the following day we took a bus ride to Ann Arbor.
Yeah, so it's not a problem.
Business. So going up to Oakland.
Yes, and we had a lot of fans up there.
We had a lot of fans up there that day. And again, if teams that make it to Breslin, they get up there. So I think for the city championship, this is about support for our young people.
Yes, sir.
And I want to see our fans come out, jump in the trucks, jump in these vans. Let's carpool. Let's get out. And you don't have to be a student of Detroit Western International High School, and you don't have to be a student or a faculty member at King High School. Get to the game, support our young people.
Yeah.
The pandemic has shown some things that our young people have been able to get involved in that aren't positive. So I say kudos to all these young men and young ladies that are playing tomorrow. Detroit Renaissance Phoenix is playing Detroit Mumford Mustangs.
Okay.
Those coaches, those gentlemen do a great job. Those young ladies are doing a wonderful job to be able to persevere and stay disciplined enough with all the illegal activities going on with our teenagers right now, with all the gangs and everything that's going on, for these young people to stay astute and continue and persevere to get to the championships. We'll be at Oakland University, and I say kudos to Oakland, Wayne State University, shame on you.
Wow, because when you think about it, G, and when we attend, a lot of students from Detroit attend Wayne State.
Stop it.
And we cannot even get a simple gesture.
They have an obligation.
It's an obligation. And I'm sure that DPSCD was not trying to do it for free, and they was going to pay some funds. And for us not to be at Wayne State at that new facility, I just think it's very disappointing to me, because when I saw it the other day, I was down there for the G League game. I just knew that the game was going to be here. It's holds about
beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
Oh, what you talking about? It's beautiful. So we got to fix that. I think we got to build some relationships more at Wayne State and to ensure that next year, because it's for next year and many, many years to come, maybe we can put a contract together for the next 10 years that the Detroit Public School Community District PSL Boys and Girls Championship would be at Wayne State. That's what we should start doing and try to do something like that, build some relationships. But for all the callers, for all the people that called in, to George's point, make sure we go out and support the game. Y'all know I'm going to be in the building. And for my man and support him, Western, I'm hearing that they got a pretty good team over there. So it's going to be a challenge for King to get out of there. But to the best man wins, the best team wins. We're going to support the kids because it doesn't make a difference what they young kids from Western, from King, from Cody, you name it. We supporting them. We're going to do our thing in that fashion. So we appreciate everybody tonight. And don't forget about Wednesday show. We have Detroit Police Chief James White is coming on the air. He will be live in the studio on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Make sure you tune in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about what's going on with the policing in the city of Detroit, make sure everybody call in. Want to talk to the chief. Make sure that we call in. Hey, chief, how's everything going? What can we do to help our city to rid this violence and all this crime? Because as one the former police chief said before, you cannot arrest your way out of this crime. We got to make sure we do some community efforts, and we'll talk more about that and what we do on a daily basis. So again, thank you for tuning in to State Champions Podcast edition that was special to everybody.
Special edition. We weren't planning on doing this. Listen, I was studying some film work, and Ralph called and said, man, did you see what happened? And as I looked at it, he said, man, we got to do a show. We got to help the people out. But let me say this to you. Rena, I love you. You our coolie girl, she said, how she get tickets for tomorrow? Anybody wants to attend the game tomorrow, let's go on gofan.com. Let's go on gofan.com. And I think as the one thing I've tried to appreciate as I've gotten older and doing this thing, because life is quick. This thing goes rather swiftly. I want to see our people come out and support these young people because I knew what it did for us.
Yeah.
I knew what it did for us. So I really would love for these people to come out. And I don't care if you have a dog in a race or a cat in a race or not. Just come out, support these people, and see these young people doing what they're supposed to do, playing the game that they love, and playing at a venue that most of them will never get an opportunity to play at again.
Yeah.
So come on out and support Western and King. And then, of course, Renaissance and Mumford on the girls' side. We're going to do everything we can do to make this a pleasurable evening for everybody. And hopefully the good people win.
State Champions Podcast, peace, and we out of here.
24, Raphael Peterson. Number 20, George Ward.
The Detroit Cooley Cardinals are the champions.